What's up guys, I'm Mark 2 here with another video review, and today we'll be taking a look at these two. So many of our subscribers were asking about the difference between a KO and an original. So let's take a look at these two and let's find out which one is the KO and which one is the original. So stay tuned. So the Mark 50 was one of the first SHF releases after the Infinity War. So Bandai always releases two variants of their SHF. One is the domestic version, as you can see here, which is packed in a smaller box. And one is an international version, which usually comes with extras like Tamashii stage acts or some Tamashii effects. But in this case, one of these is a KO. So I'll tell you right now that this one that came in the smaller box is a KO. Why did I say that it's a KO? Well, I bought it for around a third or less of the price of this one. And I bought it from a Chinese seller and it was relatively cheap, so that's what gave it away. But what surprised me is that when I received this KO, it had the Bandai and the Tamashii Nations logo. And unlike most KOs, which came without a colored background cardboard, this one came with a colored cardboard for its background. And usually KOs don't have instructions, but this one did. So it really got me confused on whether I really got a KO or was this just another overrun from the factory. So I think most of you already know about the boxes. So this one is the KO, and this one is the original, which came with an extra, the Tamashii Nations stage act stand. But aside from that, aside from the obvious differences, which is the size, the boxes are virtually identical. Let's open up the bootleg and take a closer look at the figure inside. So, as I mentioned, this box has a colored cardboard backing that's usually found in original S.H.Figuarts figures. And as I told you, it came with a manual. One thing to note is that S.H.Figuarts doesn't come with tape trays. So this is one big giveaway that this is a KO. And one thing also is that Bandai never packages their manuals in plastic bags. So this one came in a sealed plastic bag, which leads me to believe that this is really a KO. So this is what the plastic tray looks like, and as you can see, it's ridden with Scotch tape to hold the trays together. Authentic products never needed tapes, as the trays are held together by themselves and doesn't need tape. So for comparison, the original one, as I said, didn't come with any tape, as the tray holds together quite well without the need for any kind of tape. The background of the cardboard is also shiny in finish. Unlike the KO, which had a matte or flat finish, the background of the original has a very shiny finish. And as I mentioned earlier, Bandai never seals their manuals in any type of plastic bag. So if you got something that has a lot of tape on the plastic trays and has a manual but sealed in plastic bags, then there's a high probability that you already got a KO. Accessory wise, both have the similar accessories. So they both have the plasma cannons and wrist mounted cannons. They have 3 pairs of blast effects, stand or connectors for the stands, and 3 extra pairs of hands. So the international version has an additional Tamashi stage act. So I'd like to note that the original has a deep blue color for its blast effects, while the KO has a slightly aquamarine color for its effects. So that's also one thing to watch out. I'm not saying that the quality of the effects on the KO is lesser than the original, but the colors clearly give it away. So let's look at the longer repulsor blast. So as you can see, it's more of an aquamarine color, and the original here has a deeper blue color. So there you have it. So that's for the accessories. Plasma cannons also, as you can see, has a slightly different color from each other. The KO one being obviously having an aquamarine tint, and the original one having a plain blue tint. So taking out the figures out from the trays, here you can clearly begin to see the differences between the KO and the original. The KO feels heavier and is quite hefty, but the KO seems to be made of a lighter material. Plus, the KO is really stiff. As you can see, it shakes a little because of the weight of the legs, but it's quite stiff. As for the KO, you can see that the upper body is relatively loose compared to the original. As you can see, the way it shakes. So aside from the stiffness of the joints, there is a significant difference in finish between these two. So Closer look. As you can see, focus. The KO, which is on my left side, and the original, which is on the right side, has difference in paint quality. So as you can see, the original, it has a much more glossy finish than the KO. The original seems to have an extra layer of top coat, glossy top coat, while the KO, although still shiny, seems to lack the luster that the original has. The original has a clear blue eyes, which stands out from the rest of the helmet, and the KO also has blue eyes but doesn't stand out that much from the gold. So I think the original may have been painted white behind the lenses, while this remained clear. So it was installed plainly without being painted on the inside of the clear plastic. Here is the back side. As you can see, there's a certain sheen about the original that is absent on the KO. But both figures have equally impressive details. Actually, this is one of the very first KOs that had almost no defects out of the box, aside from the relatively loose torso joint. One thing also to note is that the KO also has an extending torso, same as the original, which lets you pose the Mark 50 more dynamically. And here is a paint defect that we found out. So it seems to be a residue of a super glue that remained on the abdomen of Mark 50 KO. So that's one of the defects that we found. Actually, this KO is I'm really impressed about this KO. It doesn't really have a worse joint. Actually, it has a good, fairly tight joints, with nothing being too tight or too loose except from the KO. Except for the torso, sorry. So it also has the same articulations as the original one, like the drop down hips, swivel on the thighs, double jointed knees, articulated toes, and ankle pivot, as well as up and down. So here is another defect that I've noticed. The ankle pivot of the KO is quite stiff. So unlike the original, which can bend at a significantly deeper angle, the KO is quite stiff. so you can't bend the ankles that much. The KO also has same features of the original. So you can also remove the arms and the legs. It's a bit tougher to remove the arms and the legs of the KO as compared to original. But as you can see, it lends itself well for attaching the option parts, as both of them have the same features. So you can also attach the original parts on the KO and it will have no problem. As I said, so here as you can see, has a flatter finish than the one on the original, which has a high gloss finish. So the parts are interchangeable, and if you are asking if the option parts, like the ones for the nano weapons that Takara made, can fit on both the KO and the original, the answer is yes. You can use the KO to attach the Takara Tony nano weapon set. So we found another paint defect right now here on the toes. So as you can see, there are quite a bit of flaws to the KO as compared to the original, which is almost perfect out of the box. So is it worth your money to get the KO? I hate to say it, but yes, I think this is a really good substitute if you don't have enough funds to get the original. And if you just want to get parts from the KO to provide parts for the, let's say, the nano weapons version that was recently released, then this is a viable substitute, as you can also use the hands and the feet of this KO to replace the ones on the nano weapon set, since that set didn't come with any limbs. So if you want also to have dual wielding weapons of the plasma cannons or the forearm blasters, then this nano weapon is, or this KO is a good option to get, since the original is fairly expensive nowadays. So that's all for my review. I hope that this has been an informative review, and I hope that I answered all your questions. And if not, please leave a comment on the comment section below. And again, this has been Amuro Mark II. Thank you for watching my video.